What's up guys, I'm doing yet another video this weekend of I-26, so let's get started. By the way, you have 2 free requests per video, so if you want to use them, use them. I-26 is about 330 miles long, and it runs from the Tennessee-Virginia state line to Charleston, South Carolina. So we start here at the Tennessee state line off of Tennessee 36, and we are immediately concurrent with US 23, and we are signed for Johnson City and Asheville. We first meet US 11W as Weststone Drive. We meet I-81 as we leave Kingsport, and it is signed for Bristol and Knoxville. Next we meet US 11E and US 19W and Johnson City. US 19W will join us. Next we meet US 321 in Tennessee. Do I even want to say it, dude? 67, and it is signed for Elizabethton while we are still signed for Asheville. We meet Tennessee 81 and 107, which are signed for Irwin and Jonesboro. Here, US 19W splits from us to join Tennessee 352, aka Temple Hill Road, and for some reason the shield's corners is a little more sharp, like more of a triangle, so interesting. And now we enter Madison County, North Carolina with a snowy view. Here we meet a road that'll take you to US 23A, which is signed for Wolf Laurel. Here we meet US 23A again, and also US 19. US 19 will be joining us. Next, US 25 and US 70 join the crew. And here's where US 25 leaves us. In this segment, we're signed as Teacher I-26, so you're going to see signs planted on the ground like this. Next, we join I-240, and we now get signed as actual I-26 again. And also, US 70 leaves us. Here's where we leave US 19 and 23. When we meet I-40, I-240 ends, and we get signed for Hendersonville and Spartanburg, and we also get signs for the Blue Ridge Parkway corridor. Here we pass under the Blue Ridge Parkway without interchange. Here we meet Tennessee 146 is Long Shoals Road. Here we meet North Carolina 280 is Airport Road, and it goes to the Asheville International Airport. Here's where US 25 will rejoin us. And also, there used to be an old sign here for Greenville and Spartanburg. I wish the Greenville and Spartanburg sign were here, because Greenville would have been great for US 25 and wish it the whole metro. But it's fine, I guess. And also we're in Hendersonville. Here we meet US 64's Chimney Rock Road, and here's where US 25 leads us to go to US 176 and North Carolina 225, and to Greenville. US 74 leads us to go to Columbus and Rutherford to North Carolina 108 as well. Holy stutter! Here we got a sign for South Carolina 14, and it's signed for Landrum. And now we enter South Carolina with 2 nice welcome signs here. And for real, we meet South Carolina 14. It was cool to see that they had a sign back there for South Carolina 14 back in North Carolina. Anyways, we meet US 176, which is signed for North Spartanburg and Inman. We meet I-85, which is signed for Charlotte and Greenville. Then we meet I-85 Business, which is signed for Spartanburg only. Southbound has no city. Starting with a little bunch of personal pictures of I-26, we meet US 29, which is signed for Spartanburg and Greer. Here we meet South Carolina 296 is Reedfield Road. It is signed for Reedville and Spartanburg. Here we meet US 221, which is signed for Warren Woodruff. Here we meet South Carolina 146, which is signed for Cross Anchor. Next we meet South Carolina 92, which is signed for Inori. Next we meet South Carolina 49, which is signed for Lawrence and Union. Then we pass under I-385 as we head toward the Clinton-Lawrence area. Then we meet South Carolina 56, which is signed for Clinton. And for my final picture of I-26, I got this South Carolina 72 sign, which I'll be talking about in the next slide here. Okay, so let's talk about the signs for South Carolina 72 for a second. So we got Clinton and Whitmire on the main sign, right? Yeah, that seems normal, but there's like a sign behind this one that has Greenwood and Lander University on it, from like 23 miles away, so not bad. How come Greenwood's not on the main sign? Because the MUTCD, from what I know, allows 3 lines on these type of signs, so just put Greenwood there instead. Come on, it's dot, just do that. Not that hard. And one more thing, we already had Clinton for South Carolina 56, so Greenwood and Whitmire would be just fine here, from this side. Next we meet South Carolina 66, which is signed for Joanna and Whitmire. Here we meet South Carolina 121, which is just signed for Newberry. I mean, you could add Saluda here because we already had South Carolina 66 and 72 going to Whitmire, so let's do Saluda. That'll be just fine. Oh, they did the same thing with they did South Carolina 72, and conveniently this exit number 72. But anyways, why is it like this? It shouldn't be like this. Put it on the main exit sign. It's not that hard. As we meet South Carolina 34, which is signed for Newberry and Winsboro, we get this cool sign for the 96 National Historic Site, and that's like about probably 30 miles away from here. Maybe they could add 96 somewhere as the town. Maybe. Up ahead, we meet South Carolina 773, which is signed for Prosperity and Pomeria. We meet US 176 as Broad River Road. We meet South Carolina 60, which is signed for Irmo, and it's known as Lake Murray Boulevard. And going on South Carolina 60 for a second, why are we still signed for Columbia? We're basically at Columbia's doorstep. Just let me show you where we are. Literally, we're in that circle right there, still not being signed for Columbia. Even off of US 176, we weren't signed for Columbia. South Carolina, what are we doing? Come on. Here at Malfunction Junction, aka I-20, which is signed for Florence and Augusta, we also see an exit here for downtown Columbia. And that downtown Columbia exit is what I assume was I-126. It has no shield, no US 76 shield because US 76 is leaving us here, or anything like that. It's very disappointing. On the bright side, we are signed for the airport in Charleston though. Here we meet US 378, which is signed for West Columbia and Lexington. We meet US 1, which is signed the same stuff as US 378. We meet US 21, 176, and 321, which are signed for Gaston and Case. Then we meet the start of I-77, which is signed for Charlotte. We meet US 21, 176 again, and they're signed for St. Matthews. Then we meet US 21 again. Next we meet South Carolina 6, which is signed for North and St. Matthews. We meet US 601, which is signed for Orangeburg and St. Matthews, and there's also a Welcome to Orangeburg County sign in the back. We meet US 301, which is signed for Santee and Orangeburg. We meet I-95, which is signed for Florence and Savannah. Heard they're working on this interchange, so I'm ready to see what it looks like later on. We meet US 15, which is signed for Holly Hill and St. George. Holly Hill is a very mid-control city. Here we meet South Carolina 453, and it is signed for Harleyville and Holly Hill. We meet an exit for Volvo Car Drive. This is for the Volvo Car Operations Center. Here we meet US 17 alternate, which is signed for Mox Corner in Somerville. We meet US 78, and it is signed for 2 US 52 in Goose Creek. Westbound is no signage. Why is it like this, dude? Like, 2 US 52, there should be a shield there, and for westbound, it goes to Somerville. Just sign Somerville. No, I don't care if it gets repeated. And for Goose Creek, that works. But, dang, dude, this is just a mess. We meet I-526, which is signed for Savannah and Mount Pleasant. And we also meet a road called Aviation Avenue, which goes to the airport of Charleston. Here's the interchange with I-526. Next we meet South Carolina 642 as Dorchester Road, and then up ahead we have South Carolina 7, so let's go to it. As we get a nice view of the South Carolina 7 signs, it has a lot to say for us. It is in Cosgrove Avenue, and it's signed for the Federal Complex, Sam Rindenburg Boulevard. Here we meet US 52 as Bean Street Road, and it's signed for the Hugh K. Leatherman Port Terminal. Here we meet Morrison Drive and East Bay Street. It'll take you to US 78 and its terminus. We get a 2 US 52 sign here and a 2 US 78 sign here. And you see a sign for Mount Pleasant Street here and also East Bay Street and St. Morrison Drive, including the port facilities. And we also got a giant US 52 sign, which is cool. Then we meet US 17 and join it. It is signed for Savannah southbound and Mount Pleasant and Georgetown northbound. And we get one last sign for King Street, aka US 78, but there's no shield for it because it's about to end, I guess. And finally, I-26 ends at this traffic light while US 17 continues on. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for watching this video of I-26, and I'll see you on US 378.